Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are gonna see the lazy loading in Vue.js. So in the previous video we saw lazy loading in Livewire. So if you haven't seen the video, I'll put the link in the description below. But in case if you have seen it, we tried the lazy loading in Livewire and Laravel. Today we are gonna do the same thing for Vue 3 actually, Vue 3 and Laravel. Uh, Actually, I thought why not make a video of converting a Livewire into Vue.js, because there are a couple of videos on YouTube, or there are a lot of videos which shows how to do from Vue.js to Livewire. So I thought let's try the reverse way out. And also, why not add the lazy loading aspect as well? So this video is combination of converting Livewire to Vue and the lazy loading in Vue. In any way, it won't make any difference even if you use like the normal Vue project or wherever you use Vue. The concept of lazy loading is gonna remain the same. So enough of talking. Now let's begin. All right. So we have our project here where we have a Livewire component plus the PHP file or the backend file associated with that component, which is user list.blade.php, and this is the backend file for this blade.php. We put it in our welcome blade, so that's why we are seeing here the lots of users. And if I refresh this, it shows something like a lazy loading kind of things. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but you can see the loading thing. Yeah. So if just to give a quick revision, what is lazy loading is, so lazy loading is loading your data after your DOM components are rendered or viewed or your HTML is seen. This thing is essential because when suppose if you have lots of components on your website, or suppose if you are fetching lots of data from the server, then your user shouldn't see the blank screen, right? It should see some animation, some fancy animation or something to keep that user engaged and let the user know that yes, you're not alone. So that's why we use the technique of lazy loading. Now in Vue.js, you can also lazy load the scripts, but we are today going to focus only on lazy loading the data. Okay, so how it's going to work is we first need to go to package.json. We need to make sure that we have Laravel mix. As I'm using Laravel, I'm going to use this current Laravel project for demonstrating it. But if you are doing in plain Vue, you don't need Laravel mix. What you will need is Vue loader. You will need Vue 3, because I'm going to use Vue 3 as well, and here. And you will need Axios, and I guess that should be pretty much enough. So if you're doing in Laravel, make sure you have Laravel mix installed, or you are using Laravel mix 6 plus version, because if you don't use the 6 plus version, then you cannot use Vue 3, because today we are going to do it in Vue 3. And next thing we need to consider is in our webpack.mix.js. Again, this is only for Laravel projects, not for plain Vue or any other projects. So here you need to make sure that you're including .vue function, so this one, after your JS call. Okay, so in mix.js, name of the JS file in your resources folder, that would be compiled and in public folder, and just put a .vue in that, like chain it with .vue. This is called chaining. So just chain it with .vue so that our compiler knows that yes, this is a Vue project. So that's the basic requirement we will need. And next thing, so I have already installed Vue 3, so it's pretty straightforward. Like if I just bring this up, go here to cmd command prompt, yeah, and here all you need to do is just write npm install vue @latest, something like this. It will install Vue 3 for you, and I guess that's pretty much it. Okay, so now let's go to our app.js. So in our app.js, currently it's blank. So what we need to do is we first need to include or import create app from Vue. This will go in code. Okay, so in option API, you were using something like import Vue, something like that, but in Vue 3 we will be using create app. Okay, so once that's done, what we will need next is we need to say const app equal to, and then create app this, and here it takes like a list of options. Generally you can straight away put the component here, but as we are not using any single page things and stuff like that, so we will just use individual components. So it's also like, if in your Laravel project, if you want to put Vue components only on certain page, even your page, like your project is not single page, something like that, you can use this use this style. So here I will say component, and here I'll put the component that I want to use it in my welcome.blade.php. So what generally the general practice is, in your JS folder you create a new folder. By the way, this is under resources JS. Here we create component, so all the Vue components come here, and I can then here create a new file, something like user list.vue. Okay, so we have this here, and then let's have a template. Okay, I guess I need to write it by myself. Oh, now it will show me the suggestions. Yeah, there it is. Our template, and here we will have our script of composition API. So we will be using the setup function of the composition API. If you are new to Vue 3, or if you want to know more about Vue 3, I have a video, like I have done the 1 hour video of all about Vue 3, so I'll put that link in the description as well, so you can check that as well. So let's go. Next we will need one root div element, or you can have any element, but you need one root to start with. And let's just put here user list, just like this. Okay, and okay, so this is good, and here we will import that. We will say import, and our what are we importing? We are importing user list from component / user list.vue, and here I just have to inside components I have to put that user list, so user list like this. Once this is done, what I need to do is I just have to say app dot mount, and I need to give the ID where I want to mount this, so I will just give that ID as app only. Okay, and here in the welcome.blade.php I will for now comment out the Livewire stuffs from here, and we also don't need this. And here we will change the title to lazy loading in Vue. Then we will need a div which will have the ID of app, because if you see we are mounting on a div of app, so we will just put it in the quotes like this, and here our component will come in kebab case, or the hyphen thing is known as kebab case. So as you could see, the naming convention is always with a capital letter, and then if there is like a Pascal case or camel case, this gets converted into kebab case in your component. Okay, so this is done. Now the next thing to do is we will need to include this app.js, but before that we need to compile this. So we'll say npm run watch, and this should compile our script. Till then we will include it over here. We will say script, and we will give src equal to you can include the path, or I'm just going to use asset for now, and I will say js app.js. Okay, so let it load. It's compiled, everything is good. Now let's go to our project and let's give a quick refresh. So we have our component here, user list, as you could see, and if I go over here, so user list. Okay, so that's great. Now next thing to do is, if I go to Livewire's component, so I'll just copy this as it is, so from here actually like this, and I'll put it inside my Vue component like this. Okay, so as you could see, like these are all PHP variables are throwing errors. We will quickly fix them as well. So okay, and now, okay, so we till here we are good. Now, as we are in Vue, so we don't need wire loading, we don't need wire target, we don't need this thing, and we don't need this as well. We don't need this as well. We don't need this as well, and we don't need this as well. But here we will put our Vue things. So first thing first, here we need to take, before that we need to import ref. So I would say import ref from Vue. So in composition API, you use ref to keep, because in options API, you have data and then you define in that data function, you define all the variables. But in composition API, you use ref. So here I will say const users. So all my users list is nothing but going to be initially an empty array. Okay. After this, once I have this, I will need, so as I'm using lazy loading, I will need whether the users are fetched or not. Okay, so for that thing, let's quickly use another variable, list loaded equal to ref false. Okay, initially it will be false, later it will be, we will set it to true once we have the list loaded. Okay, I guess I broke the suspense before only how we are going to do it, but yeah, we are going to use the variable pattern. So once we have that, next thing to do is let's have a quick look how it looks for now. So if I just quickly refresh this and go here, quickly refresh. So we just have this loading thing, which is coming from here. Now let's go forward. So here, if you see in our Livewire component, there was if and for each. So in the same way, we are going to do something like, instead of instead of putting that if, we will straight away go for the for, because Vue is very good in handling such stuff. So we will say v for equal to, and we will say for users here. So we will say item comma index in users, and we will need a key. So because when we use v for, we need a key to keep it track of those DOM elements and everything. So this would be our index. Okay, so we have this here. Now as we are using these users here, we need to, I'll just minimize this, I guess this is a bit annoying. So as we are using these users here in the blade, in our template, we need to return it. So how we do it, we say in the setup function, the return value is going to be an object, and we will say users. Okay, so this users is going over here. Okay, we'll save this for now, and okay, and here we will say show this v if list loaded not. So if this is false, show this. Once this gets true, don't show this. Okay, so till now we are good. Now next thing we will need is, so as you could see, we are almost done. We just need to put the username that we will put in now as well. Actually, we can actually straight away put it. We will say user dot name. Sorry, I dot name. Actually, it won't be user not name because we are using item over here. So if I put user, then here it will be user, something like this. So the v for takes in the value and the index. So you could say like, yeah, something like key value pair kind of thing. So this is nothing but the value, and it iterates over all the users collect, like whatever collection we have, it iterates over all the items individually, and we are just displaying the name of the user. Okay, so this is done. Now next thing here in our backend file, if you see, we are having user get, so we need to get this user, or we need to fetch these users. So how we are going to do it? Simple. So we will go in welcome.blade.php. Now, one thing here is, sorry, not welcome, actually, it should be web.php. But before that, one thing to notice the difference between Livewire and Vue is, if you're only using it in Laravel, for Livewire, you don't need to write separate route to fetch the data because everything is handled for you under the hood by Livewire. So like those Ajax requests for getting the data, like all those stuffs, they're already handled for you. But if you're using Vue, then in that case, you need to define an endpoint to fetch these users. Okay, so how we are going to do it? We will say here route get users, and this will be a function. You can put it in a separate controller, or you can have it like here as well, as this is just one line function. So I'm just going to put it over here. I'm not going to create a separate controller, but of course you can create a separate controller or separate resource controller or anything. So I will say return. This is going to be response JSON, and my JSON will be an array containing users, user get. Okay, so let's import this file user from app models users, and okay, so we have an error here. Yeah, so code, yeah, so this looks perfect. Now if I go to my users list, now I will need Axios to make a call to this web.php, sorry, that route. So I will say import Axios from Axios, and this can come over here. If you are using composition API, you need to import Axios like this. If you're using setup API, options API, you can import Axios straight away over here, and then you can use it over in any component you like. Like you can import it in main app.js file, and then you can put it over here. I'm pretty much sure there is a way to just import it once and use it in all Vue components. Just let me know in the comment section. Okay, so yeah, we also need to return this list loaded because we are using it in here, over here. So now once we have our Axios, let's make an Axios get request. So I will say axios.get, and this is going to be for the users. So because this users, and this, okay, this will just gonna be a promise. So I will say response, and this response data users will be our users value. So I'll say users dot value, because as we are using ref, so the value of this users actually has the value of the users. Okay, so because this is a reactive property, so we need this returns an object, so we have to target its value like this. So once this is done, we'll say rest.data.users, because from our here we are taking users. Okay, so let's save this and let's quickly load and see what we are getting here. If I load this, we are getting users instantly, but this loading is still there. So what we are going to do is we will say list loaded dot value equal to true. Okay, of course you can put a check over here, like if users have really loaded or not, or if there's a problem, we can say like that as well. So if there's a problem, we can make this false. If there's not a problem, we can make it like we can keep it true. Now to use actual lazy loading, we will say on mounted. So in Vue, there are life cycles. So if you go to their documentation, you can see like in this link here. So these are composition API life cycles. So they have given the comparison between options API and composition API lifecycle. They're pretty much the same. Actually, they're exactly the same. It's just the naming convention has changed. So if you're familiar with the mounted, then in composition API, it becomes on mounted, and we will be using this. So what mounted works, how mounted works is once our element or sorry, not element, but if our component is attached to the DOM, that is mounted. Okay, so after the browser is updated, so we will say that let's have this Axios inside on mounted. So we'll just take on mounted over here, on mounted, and this is going to be a function like this, and this all is gonna go inside this, and okay, and then we need to include on mounted over here like this, on mounted from Vue. Okay, now if I give it a reload again, you will see this time it's still loading. So we have our loading, and now the data is coming there. So we have the list of users. Okay, so that's all from me actually. So hope you enjoyed this video. So just put in the comment section like how you would have done this differently, and just let me know about this Axios, how we can use it in, just write it once and use everywhere, no need to import again and again. So thank you again for watching my videos, and please, if you like this video, put a thumbs up over there, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new to my channel. And yeah, that's it. Till then, goodbye.